Good afternoon, everybody. Nice of you to arrive halfway through a job. I won't blame it on you viewers, I'll blame it on our cameraman. He turned up like an hour late and claims it was getting the wrong job information, but I see the knick-knack stains around his mouth and the McDonald's ketchup on his chin, so I wasn't born yesterday. We've all been lost. I was once lost in a 14-day McDonald's coma. So there's no judgment here. I just want honesty and the truth. Where were you? I could smell the cooking oil on you, mate. So anyway, seeing as you have joined us, I might as well explain to you where I'm at. We're fitting a Tesla charger, something a little bit different. And this here is the MATI device, which is basically a big old fancy OPEN device. So you've got a contactor here which will disconnect all three poles, the live earth and neutral, or line earth and neutral, and that runs through this OPEN device. So basically, if there's a pen fault, because in England we combine with our earthing systems the neutral and earth, before the earth conductor ever gets a chance to become live, it will open up, disconnecting all of them. So that's what I'm just installing now. Reuben is on the other side of the wall. Why don't you go check in on him?
So, cameraman's late again. Missed me putting charger on the wall. Cable strip this end, Cory's putting on the board. We're just going to get it done. And then in the afternoon, I'm not sure if Cory's already explained this, but all we're supposed to do is lay a cable that we're going to end up putting a charger on Thursday. Because we're kind of speeding through this, we might end up putting up the Hypervolt or whatever charger we're doing. But yeah, blasting through it. Like lightning. Call me McQueen.
So I'm completely blinded and I've left my sunglasses at home. This white wall with the sun is blinding me out, but I think the charger is here somewhere. So this Tesla charger is going to be going on just here. I was just saying to Reuben, a good little lesson which probably can be shared with you is he's used ferrules, which is great because that's super above and beyond his second fix this while I've been next door. Don't worry, we're about to silicon and all the rest of it. He's used ferrules. Great, because it's very much above and beyond. However, well, it's not above and beyond if you actually need them, but in this situation you don't. And the reason why you don't need them is because it's actually it's a solid strand flex. So although it's a flexible cable, the screw's not going to be cutting into them and snapping them because it's a much stiffer strand. Whereas when you get the real soft flexy cables, like if I was to cut into this Hoover cable here, that would need ferrules because that would be a really fine stranded flex. But actually when you get into the more solid stuff, it's not doing anything, for one, and two, it can even sometimes be counterproductive. You can actually, if you would say to do it on a twin and earth cable especially, you'll probably be able to just pull the cable straight out of the ferrule. So whilst they're nice and they look really nice, they're actually counterproductive to use them sometimes. But anyway, we'll sort that shortly. Sort that shortly. So the cable is going to come round onto here. He hasn't got it yet. There's going to be like a little mount, hence why it's a little bit off centre, and then the porch is being built off of there. So that's nearly done, and then we'll be off to our next job, and it's only 10 o'clock, so it's pretty good going. If Jordan's watching this, then it's 3:30 and we're really struggling, and just book one of these in a day.
So, we're done. We completely just smashed this one out. You can tell by the sun, which is blinding me right now because there's white wall, that it's only like 11, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, everything's mounting, the MATI, the Tesla, it's charging all right, functional tests all done. So yeah, we're moving on to our next job, which is supposed to be just laying a cable, as I said earlier. But I think we'll get the charger mounted and who knows, maybe the board.
that's the first job of the day smashed out. Time for the second job of the day. Right, so the trenching is just being installed now, ready for us to stick the power in the garage. However, I'm just debating some things. I'm going to call Dan and find out, because by the looks of it, we're putting a consumer unit in the house and running all the circuits through the ducting to here, because that's definitely what I've got the materials for. But it seems to make sense to me to have the consumer unit here and just run one power cable back and then an armoured Cat 5 back to the house and do it that way instead. But I'm sure there would have been a reason for him not doing that, but I can't see the full picture right now, so I'm going to give him a call and ask him what the plan is with that. And I'm pretty sure the ducting should end a little bit further than that. Do you want to demonstrate?
That I mean, it does fit.
We could put it there, and it would be very low profile. You could drive straight over it. So in a way, I actually quite like it. And I'm not mocking anybody that said it, but there was the suggestion that maybe we could angle drill through. I like to think of myself as fairly moderately competent drilling at an angle, but I would say that drilling from here, a full Cory leg span, not to show off, but I can't go further than that. Almost a full Cory leg span across there. with a brick wall, it's not gonna happen. So let's get the old steel saw. I just got credit for making cakes for someone I didn't make cakes for. Hi, I just received the lovely cakes you made. Thank you so much for the kind gesture. We'll enjoy them this afternoon with a cup of tea. Much love to you both. Kiss, kiss. Kissy face. I'm pretty sure that's meant for my sister, because I've not made cakes for anyone recently. Maybe it's a sign from above that I should make cakes more often. I'm going to take it. Do you reckon let's do the right thing and see what we can get out of this.
Exactly.
You're welcome for the cakes.
Yeah.
I expect the gesture returned soon.
Yeah.
Here's my address.
Exactly.
Here's what I'm thinking. We get some armoured Cat 5, we get a 16mm cable, drill the hole out and just run it as I'm thinking there. We put a switch fuse in, say there, anywhere really, providing there's not cables behind there. Put a switch fuse in up here, chuck an armoured cable down there, and we'll do it that way. And I'm going to see even if I can get hold of a Zappi rather than a Hypervolt, because that will mean then we won't need to run a data cable down there, because with the Hypervolt we'd need to put load limiting on it, because I think this is a 60 amp fuse. The DNO are coming out in a minute anyway to upgrade all of this today, conveniently, while we're all here. Drill one hole out of there. It just makes more sense rather than running multiple circuits out there if they ever want to add anything. If they ever put battery storage in, even if they decide to put battery storage, the garage would be a fantastic place to store the battery. Whereas if the consumer unit's in here, you'll have to run another circuit all the way out. So I'm going to oversize it. I'm going to put 16mm 3-core armoured in, maybe stick an earth rod in out there and just do it that way. But for now I'm going to get all the materials here, get it all to site, and then it just is what it is. Surge protection. Why are we using Crabtree? I like Crabtree, I have nothing against Crabtree, but the only thing is, as far as I'm aware, they don't have a modular single way or even double way surge protective device. You have to use the outside separate thing that we've got in there. Whereas I'd rather use Fusebox or Hager, really, just because it means I can put it all in one board. I'm going to ask if there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason why we're using Crabtree. I don't know.
Take care.
Bye. What do you reckon? 22.5
I don't
metres?
think so.
No?
It's kind of tough to tell because they're there and I don't really want to get in their way too
we don't
much.
get it tight.
It's either going to be really damn tight or it's just not going to make it.
The most expensive cable is the cable that's too short. I reckon it might do it.
You reckon?
But at the same time, there's not really any benefit to us having it, because we need to figure out if we can use a Zappi instead of a Hypervolt. But I think we just got to do it the way the job is spec'd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either is fine. I'll get out of your way. I'll go down to... We'll go start working that end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to be difficult. I'm going to be awkward. If I wanted an easy life right now, it would be to put the consumer unit in there and just do everything for the materials I've got, because that could mean I could be pretty much finished today and go home. It's annoying, but it just doesn't make as much sense to me personally, and there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Can I point that out as well? Like, Dan is very good at what he does, and there'll probably be a lot of people shouting at the telly, do it that way, that's better. But just for me personally, as the person looking after the job, that's the way I'd rather do it. I'd rather have the consumer unit in here, have everything done this way round, so that if you ever want to add power into it, if you want to add lighting, sockets, whatever it may be, battery storage, solar even, panels on the roof, chuck a low voltage cable down into here, put the inverter on the wall. It just makes sense to me to have one oversized cable going back to the mains, so that's the way I'm going to do it. Right, so the consumer unit's got to be mounted between 1350 and 1450 to the centre of the switches. I'm going to be a bit generous and put it this end so that it lines up nicely with the brickwork, so I can get a nice solid fixing. But when I say the switches, I mean the centre of the breaker needs to be between those points, so that if someone's in a wheelchair, they can easily reach up and reset it. Do I want to put an earth rod in? There's nothing really extraneous here, is there? I think I'm happy to export the earth out to here, providing I get my ZS, or ZDB reading low enough, and providing I've got 30 milliamp double pole RCDs or RCBOs on every circuit. I think I'm actually quite happy to export my PME out to here. The DNO is in, just replacing the tails, meter tails, up to the point of the meter. And he said, "Oh, do you want me to put you a 2-pole isolator in?" I said, "Oh, that would be lovely. He's going to do it for us for free." I said, "Actually, I've got part of my job list is to fit an SPD with the 2-pole isolator on it." So I said, "Oh, if you could fit that one for us, that'd be great." He said, "Yeah, no problem." What a legend. Eon. What a company. Eon, more like, get me on it, please.
And I bought one, and then literally the next day John sends a picture on the Artisan chat. It's just like, "Oh yeah, bulk bought a bunch of these knives." What the hell? So yeah, basically I just paid for a knife that I could have gotten 3 for free.
I'm the trendsetter. Well, no, I'm the like influencer marketing chief, and you are the influence marketer in the company. I'm actually starting an eBay store though. I'm going to sell Marksman sprays because John just bought about 500 of them in bulk. So if you want them, what should we sell them for? £1? It didn't cost me anything. £1. Comments below. I'll see if I've got any left. Cool. That's the conduit. I would have shown you how to do it, but unfortunately we have 14-year-old viewers and viewers with the mind of a 14-year-old. So if you want to see how conduit is warmed up and bent, you're going to have to find that on YouTube somewhere else, not on this channel. That'll actually look quite nice. Just put it like that. Butt it straight up. You can plug a lawnmower and things, can't you? Put it there instead. Just there. Cable can come straight up into it. That can go straight down. Yeah, I'll go with that. Right, I'll show you my van as well. This is pretty sick. Unfortunately, I'm no longer Sandtrix. I'm back to being Artisan Electrics. People actually know who I am if I cut them up on a roundabout or anything, which kind of sucks. I did enjoy the inconspicuousness of it. Maybe I could just take a digit off the phone number at the end or something. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. So I get an email, here, come into my office. So I got an email from the OZEV office saying, "You've been audited." I was like, oh man, that's terrifying. I didn't know whose install it was, whether it was mine or someone else's. And then John says, "Oh, it's your install." And they've failed it. So I was like, what on earth? They've failed it. They found code 2s. Code 2s on my install that I've done, probably with Reuben, a few months back. And I was like, this is absolutely terrible. I take a lot of pride in my work. So getting a code 2 on something you've installed is horrifying. That is really embarrassing and horrifying. So I was like, okay, well, send over the report to me. I need to see it. And then I will go there straight away and sort it out. These glaring, death-causing codes that you've given the install. I've been sent the review and the report, and it is absolutely ridiculous, the things that they've graded. And I'm going to do a separate episode soon, because what's very interesting, right, we only got that day before yesterday, and now yesterday we got a couple of emails come through from different installers saying, oh, I'm really sorry to hassle you, I've just had an audit done on some of my EV installs and I wanted to see what you think of it. I've got a load of code 2 and code 3s. And they've sent over their audits, and again, absolutely ridiculous. In fact, I'm going to read out a couple of things that have been audited as a code 2. Someone has sent this isn't my one, you're going to see my report, because I'm going to put my full report up on the screen when we do that episode. So apparently, an armoured cable being run through a wall without sleeving, that counts as a code 2. Absolutely ridiculous. I'd like to see the reg that says that. Again, this is this other guy's report. Non-fire rated clips being used. Apparently, he said his cable was literally run about that far off the floor around the building. So maybe there's rules, but then you've got to think about the principles behind the rules. The whole idea of the fireproof fixings is the regs around premature collapse, protecting firefighters, all for it, all day long. We use linear clips anyway, so it's not usually much of a problem unless we're fixing into wood and certain other things.Maybe sometimes we might opt to use a saddle or a cleat, sorry. But if a cable's that far off of the floor, unless you've got Snow White and her 7 dwarfs coming to put out the fire, I can't imagine it's going to be an issue. Zappy being fed by a circuit with no RCD, again, the cable has mechanical protection. It's mechanically protected SWA EV Ultra cable, and the Zappy has an internal RCD built into it, so they've rated that as a code 2. So, and he's said something which I find very funny. It seems like these audits are being done by spotty-faced kids and are recommending customers get surge protection on 15-year-old plus consumer units and getting changes made to meet current regs. It would be a superb subject for one of your videos. Oh, Richard, mate, we are so on it, because we've had exactly the same thing done. We're doing this video on Thursday because I've been audited as well, and I've got all the same issues, and I completely categorically disagree with them. I think they are just wrong, basically. So hold fire for that episode where I'm going to be venting. We could go for that actually, couldn't we? So get a cable around
as well.
Yeah, we'll go for that. So it's the edge of this is in line with the edge of that brick.
Right, okay.
Nice and neat.
Cool.
We're here. It's the same day. For continuity, nothing has changed, so that it still looks like the same day. It's not the same day. We've come back. So everything's pretty much as it was, except now our cable is in place. So if you look, the trench has been filled in. The thing that was sent that was incorrect was this bus bar. It's far too big, and I don't think I can cut this one down. So it's not just a normal bus bar with the teeth popping up, it's the breakers actually clip into this. My fingers are so freezing cold, I can barely snap them off. The breakers like clip into that, so it's a lot safer because it's harder to touch and things, and there's less metal in there. But I don't think I can cut it unless I like can snap the end off, slide it out, cut it. I'll ring the wholesaler and ask if they know better. Do you know? Can I cut that? It feels a bit wrong to, really. It's even with a hacksaw, it's not going to be the neatest cut, but either way, I think I do need to pop out, get a little bit more of this black conduit, because all our offcuts, we had some few metre long and 2 metre long offcuts, and they've disappeared. We need the correct size bus bar, and we'll see if there's anything else. Probably makes sense to, could just terminate it into there, couldn't we? Or should we do it to a box and then come out of that? I think that's just an unnecessary joint. If you terminate into a stuffing gland, this end, another 20mm there, we'll bring the data cable up into here. I mean, if you could cut another 25mm stuffing gland in there, then maybe you could avoid it, because you could bring the power up that one and the data up that one, because the data could go into the 25 and still be alright. This is quite nice actually, Max. For a diesel, it does not hang about, does it? This is my car review of Max's car. Driving a sports car with boots on is not very fun. I have to say, I rate that wholesaler That was Enfield Electrical down in Royston. So we usually go to our one in Cambridge, but it was just a lot quicker and closer from where we were working. They were really, really nice and very quick and very efficient. And they gave me a load of MK merch. They just gave me a little MK Swiss Army knife and some pretty sweet stuff. So I'll rate that. And I'm so glad they gave me a USB stick. I use USB sticks all the time.
So as I'm heat shrinking this heat shrink, and it's taken about 10 centuries, I'm just going to walk you through what I've got left to do. We've got a few bits to do, but it shouldn't take too long. So I just got to connect up the Cat 5s into the charger. It's all the power cables in there already. And then I've got to take the power from there to the board that we've put in here. And then there's just a few like remedial bits, but that won't take any time at all.
Okay, so here's a little tip for if you want to make off a gland and get it right. You don't want wibbly wobbly cable. Because it's been terminated the other end, I can't push any slack back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it perfectly straight all the way up. I've already put this end of the gland in. Now I'm going to twist this bit of armouring around here, like so it doesn't move. And just hold that on, it's only temporary. Just on a piece that's flat against the wall, like there. It's the same as the cable tie trick. If you've seen that one, I'm sure you have. Just bend that there where I want the armouring cut. And then that can push flat against your cable. That right there is where I'm going to want to start cutting my armouring to make that straight. And another tip, 2 for the price of 1. We'll use this armour as a guide. Our blade against that. So now you can see I've just cut that off. You can see a nice, clear, dead straight line. It's quite handy having a guide sometimes. Cool, so we're just going to whack a light on here. So the spec materials that we have, because if you remember originally, we was going to just do one feed in for the sockets and then split off. So I haven't actually got a 6 amp breaker for the lighting. It was just a little light here for if you're working by it or operating the charger and things. We've got a little bulkhead light which is coming up in a piece of PVC conduit. So that'll be coming off the socket circuit and a fused spur up to the light fitting, and then I'm about to wire this board and make that bougie. We've got the Zappy on ready to go. Massively oversized the cable to allow for battery storage, solar, all the other things that potentially could be used in this garage. Cool, so this is all filled. I'm just coming up, just labelling and finishing up a couple of little bits on the CT connections and stuff. I'm not happy to leave this switched on now. So I've asked the DNO to come and repair this. You see this bond on the TNS earth, it's just shocking. It's all rusty and corroded and snapped, and we're getting way over the top resistance reading that we're allowed. So that's going to be no good. So they're going to come and repair that as soon as they can, and then we'll come back, pop that switch fuse on and get it all livened up. Okay, so that's all for now. So we've got very high ZE readings, so the DNO are going to come out and repair that for us, because we've not got the authority to touch their lead sheathing and start repairing that in this country. So they're going to come out and repair that. For now, I've taken the fuse out, the switch fuse, switched it off. As soon as they come back and repair it, I'll come, switch it on, get another ZDB reading, get another ZE reading, and then I can commission properly and connect it all up for the customer. But until then, unfortunately I have to leave it switched off just for safety. But that's all for today. So thank you very much for watching. See you next time.